live. We're live on Twitch. And we're going to record this podcast and talk a little bit about DMR, Digital Mobile Radio Service. And that their music there is provided by the fine folks at purple-planet.com. Purple-planet.com. Go over there and check them out. All right. Welcome. It is Saturday, 1/15/2020. Yep, it is 1/15/2020. Wow. It's already the 15th of the month. Wow. Where does time go, huh? Anyway, so we're here. This is I'm the broke amateur guy. My name is N6PUD, and we are talking DMR. So DMR, give you a little background on it. DMR is the Digital Mobile Radio Service. And a little background on exactly what DMR is. So, what is DMR? Well, DMR is DMR stands for Digital Mobile Radio, and it uses the Motorola Turbo protocol for communications like other digital modes such as DStar C4FM, APCO P25. The Turbo protocol converts your voice into a digital form and sends it via RF, and so on and so on and so on. So it's really, it sounds really awesome. There's TGIF and Brandmeister. Now, Brandmeister requires a password if you're going to use DMR with your hotspot. Let me give you a little view of a hotspot, what it looks like. Now, my desk is filthy. I apologize in advance. So, that right there, well, no one's currently talking. So what I'll do is I will key the microphone up so you can see it. That little thing right there. That is a Pi-Star. And how the Pi-Star works is it's connected to a network. I connect it to the Brandmeister network. And it's really nice. And there's a digital dashboard. If you look at your screen, there's the digital dashboard. And now there's somebody keyed up right now. Looks like KCG, kind of hard to see. Oh, KC6LDN. KC6LDN. So KC6 is a call sign here in the state of California. So the DMR radio, I'll give you a little idea of what a DMR radio looks like. This is just one. This is an MD380. So there is the MD380. Put it down a little bit so you can get a better look at it. That is a DMR radio. That is a TYT MD380. That radio. And I also have an external mic. I don't know if you heard that, but I accidentally keyed it up. So that is a DMR handheld. That is a portable radio. And so when it comes to DMR, with your technician license, now if you look at your monitor, I've got the technician class license privileges up on the monitor. and you can see it there, right there on the right-hand side of your screen. I guess I should have moved that stuff out of the way. But there is where you have privileges. You have privileges in the 23 centimeter, 33 centimeter, 70 centimeter, 1.25 meter, 2 meter, 6 meter, and you have a little bit of privileges in the 10 meter section from 28.3 to 28.5. And you have CW privileges on the 15, 40, and 80 meter bands, but you only have CW. And on 10 meters, you only have upper sideband phone privileges. That's anything that's phone is voice. So DMR tends to hang out around 70 centimeters and 2 meters. Well, that's just where it hangs out. And another thing, too, is you also have privileges, all privileges on 6 meters, which I've never talked there. I said that on my last little podcast that I did. So, with your technician class privileges, you have the ability to transmit on 2 meters and 70 centimeters, and that is where the DMR hangs out. So it's a digital mode. So let's go ahead and we'll connect here, and we'll let you hear
very good signal.
A little bit of what it sounds like.
3, Fox, Juliet, Kilo 1, Hotel, Charlie, back to you.
So the person that just talked right now is from Japan.
Hopefully I spoke to our
gentleman's name is Taka.
Yeah, you're coming in at 5 and 9 here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. First personal is Flynn, Foxtrot, Lima, Yankee, November. Yeah, it's minus 12 degrees.
Okay, so let me give you a little insight to DMR and these digital modes. Now, the digital modes are connected through a voice over IP connection. Now, you can connect to here locally. I have a repeater from the Papa system here in Southern California, in the area that I'm at. Literally on the left-hand side of me, right outside my window, there's a huge area called Santiago Peak. It's up on the top of a mountain, about 6,000 feet up in the air. Now, a lot of repeaters have connections for C4 FM, which, is the YSF network, DMR, D-Star. Now, the big difference between D-Star and DMR and, all of the P25 and things like that, I just wanted to point this out. With D-Star is a service that is kind of proprietary to the ICOM radio manufacturers. It was created by a group of Japanese amateurs back, I don't remember exactly when, and I know that people are going to critique me, but that's okay. I if I'm not mistaken, sometime back in the late 90s, and it was adapted with ICOM, and here's the reason that I bring up D-Star on the ICOM radios. One of the awesome things about ICOM and D-Star is that D-Star can be used pretty much if you've got an ICOM 7300, you can use that ICOM 7300 on D-Star pretty much on any of the frequencies that you have in your radio. I've heard people use D-Star on HF, and the difference between D-Star and DMR is the difference between day and night. But the difference is, now let's get away from D-Star and let's go back to DMR. Now, you were initially yes, you're going to hear people talking all over the world, but they're talking through a network connection that is connected, and in some case, well, in pretty much all cases, except for if you're using a hotspot, they're connecting through a network. And that hotspot also has to connect to the network to grab access so that you can talk through your hotspot over that network, which the big one is, the Brandmeister network, and that's who I'm connected through. But now I am using, and I'll show you. Let me show you what I'm using here so you have an idea.
Kilo 4, Uniform, Foxtrot Delta.
I am using on my let me disconnect so it doesn't sound bad. I am using an app on my Samsung tablet called Droidstar. Okay? I'm connected to, it's a Brandmeister network, United States 3102. I am connected to Talk Group 91, World Talk Group 91. Okay? There is my D-Star radio. It's an ICOM 5100. Okay? There's all my other radios. There's a CB radio. There's my HF radio, my microphones, and all that good stuff. So, anyhow, so with the awesome capabilities that you will have, say you're one of those people that does not have in your possession a radio, and you've just recently got your license. Your license showed up in the database, and you have your license. It shows up in the FCC's website. You're ready to rock and roll. Most places that you take your test through will send you an email and say, hey, in my case, Tim, here's your new license. You can now talk on amateur radio. And once you get that, you can go and register at radioid.net. Radioid.net. Again, that's radioid.net. And say you don't have a radio to talk on. Well, let me show you this. I just showed you this. You got an Android? This will not work on an Apple product. You got an Android. You now have DMR in the palm of your hands. You can also play with C4FM. You can play with P25. You can listen to D-Star, but you can't key up on D-Star. You can listen to pretty much any of the reflectors that they have set up. Basically, I'm not really sure exactly how to explain a reflector. It's the same principle as a talk group. So with DMR, Digital Mobile Radio, they are talk groups. They call them talk groups. And one of the most popular talk groups on DMR is World Talk Group 91. So when you go and you register your DMR or radioid.com, and they're going to ask you to upload a copy, an official copy of your new FCC license. They don't want a copy of the what do they call that? They don't want the copy that is not official. So let's just put it to you this way. It's got to be official. It has to be official. So once you've uploaded that official copy and you get your email back from radioid.com, make sure that you copy that little radio ID, because that radio ID is your identity on DMR. And, once you get your DMR radio, okay, I'm listening to the fire department. So once you get your certified legit copy of your license and you've uploaded it to radioid.net, and they send you back your copy of that. And you go to program, if you're going to use Droidstar or Dudestar, those are two of the big ones over there on the Google Play Store. It's pretty simple to configure. It's actually really simple to configure. Or you can go to some of those nice, cool, and I'm not being paid or sponsored by Bridgecom. Bridgecom's awesome. They'll program that radio for you with a code plug for your area, for your hotspot, or if you buy the whole Bridgecom system, they'll program everything for you, and you're ready to rock and roll. So DMR is a lot of fun. Let's connect to DMR, and let's see who's talking. So it looks like.
¿Qué haces, Esther? ¿Cómo estás? Lima Unión 9, Lima Kilo Unión, Lima Uniform 1, Charlie Oscar Papa.
Bueno,
So,
Lima Uniform 1, Charlie Oscar Papa, this is Radio
person.
9 DKU. Bueno, qué bien por acá, qué
Okay,
bien por acá,
so
congratulations.
these are two stations from Argentina.
Después te mando un modelito, si querés, en inglés, para que lo puedas aplicar, ¿sí? 73, L1 COP, L9 de...
So that is what DMR sounds like.
¿Qué haces, Esthercita? Pero yo salgo del 2016.
And
por acá,
because this
Esther.
is a world talk group,
Yo salgo del 2016, te agradezco igual. Pero
everybody
X por HS y después por acá ando de...
that has
desde el
access to the
2016,
Brandmeister network
Así que... Pero pasa, soy vago para...
will
para
have
mi inglés.
access to this talk group. And this is a
Lo
really
justo
cool
y
talk group.
necesario. Che, ¿todo bien? Acá contento que se largó a llover.
So-
Me refrescó un poco. Espero que...
I don't know if some people realize, those of you that are thinking about getting your amateur license, or those of you that have just gone and taken your amateur license and you've passed, or maybe you went and you took all three, maybe you went and you took both, or maybe you just wanted to get your tech license so you can get out and you can talk on your local repeaters. Or you have what's called an Elmer. An Elmer is someone who shows you the ropes, teaches you how to get on the radio, and gets you amped up about having that brand new license. So when you go in and you've taken your amateur license and you've passed, you have to wait until your amateur license shows up in the FCC database before you can talk. So yeah, you have a certificate of successful completion, says that you passed, but you can't talk till that license shows up. I just wanted to remind you guys of that, because some people, they don't know, and sometimes you're in such a hurry to get that license, and they, at the end of your exam, say you're doing it online or you've done it in person, maybe when they ask you, do you have any questions about everything that's gone on today? And you're like, nope, I passed, I've got my ham license, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Well, you don't have your call sign until your license is in the database. And if you took your technician class on the weekend, let's say you took it Friday, you took it Saturday, you took it Sunday, you're probably not going to see that license until Monday morning. Usually, depending on what part of the country you're in, like I'm in Southern California, I'm on the West Coast, so normally my license would show up in the database come Monday morning. So you're not going to have it right away, and it takes time. So, but one of the cool things to remember, and you will, I believe that you're taught this when you take your technician class, or maybe at the beginning of the course when you go for your general license. Now, when you get your general license, you don't have to wait to talk, okay? Once that general license, once you've taken that, it's an automatic upgrade. It's an instant upgrade. It's an instant upgrade. So once your instant upgrade is done, you've passed, you know, successfully completed your test, and they tell you, well, you know what? You passed, dude, and you're ready to rock and roll. It's an instant upgrade. But anyway, so we're right now we're talking about technician areas. So I have never used 33 centimeters. I've never used 23 centimeters. I've never used 2 meters. Okay, and did I say 2 meters? I've never used 6 meters. My bad. I've talked on 1.25. Most people refer to that as the 220 band. Not a lot of activity over there. I've never really talked much on the 220 band of frequencies there. So now 6 meter, again, I've never talked there. 10 meter, I've talked all over 10. I've talked on 15. I've talked on 40, and I've talked on 80. But again, you only have privileges on 15, 40, and 80 in the exclusive area where you are able to use CW. So if you don't know CW, you're probably not going to talk there. But you do have permission to own a radio that has those frequencies in it, because you are privileged to use CW. So you can listen, you just can't key up where voice is allowed. So you can listen. But we're talking today about DMR. So let's see if maybe we can make a contact over here. So remember, when you are going to key your microphone up, always make sure that nobody's talking.
LU9DKU.
That's why you don't just key the mic up and start talking.
Uniform, calling CQ from Argentina.
It's called good amateur practice. So if I'm not mistaken, this station here was calling for anybody to come back to her. November 6, Papa Uniform Delta, monitoring, Talk Group 91.
Talk Group 91.
November 6, Papa Uniform Delta. This is LU9DKU. Esther from Argentina. You copy?
Yeah, yes, I do. I'm not sure what time of day it is, but it's the evening here. The name is Tim. Tango India Mike. And my QTH is in Lake Elsinore, California. Back to you.
Okay, team. November 6, PUD, LU9DKU. Okay, my name is Esther, Eco Sierra Tango Teleco Romeo, and my QTH is Necochea in Buenos Aires province, Argentina. I listen to you very clean, clear, and loud. Back to you, Tim. November 6, PUD, LU9DKU.
Talk to you, Estelle. Okay. I've heard you talk a few times and never jumped on to say hello. But I would like to say good evening from Southern California, and I appreciate you coming back to me. So I will bid you a 7-3. Lima Uniform 9, Delta Kilo Uniform from November 6, Papa Uniform Delta. 7-3. Thank you.
Okay, N6PUD, LU9DKU. Thank you for the call. 73 and better 2022. Bye-bye, my friend. N6PUD, LU9DKU.
Okay, so now if you looked at the monitor there, you saw her name. And one of the cool things is I didn't mention that you can actually mouse over that area of the person's call. Their call was LU9DKU. And you can mouse over their name and you can click it and it will tell you, it'll take you to the QRZ database. And it will tell you where he, she, whoever, where they're located. And you can actually send them what is called a QSL card. A QSL, translated into regular language, is acknowledge of receipt. And you can actually log that conversation with them. And they'll get acknowledgement of you and you get acknowledgement of them, and you can log them in your database. So maybe at some point here I'll do a video and show you exactly how that works so that you'll know how to do that in the future, depending on whether you are interested in using DMR or your Elmer's explained to you, hey, this is a lot more fun. A DMR stinks. Try C4FM, YSF. C4FM is through the Yaesu fusion system, which is another digital mode that's fun. I have access to C4FM, YSF, but I don't use it very often because I like the fact that I also have a handheld walkie-talkie at my fingertips, but I can go to C4FM. But today we're not talking about C4FM, we're talking about DMR. So, and I wanted you to see that the DMR is primarily located in the 2 meter and the 70 centimeter area of your where you're going to be talking as an amateur radio operator. But don't kid yourself, because you're not just limited to FM. And here's where I have a problem with kind of what they tell you when you go to study. A lot of people are going to tell you everything above 6 meter, everything above 50 megahertz. Well, that's wrong. That's not right. You do have privileges in HF. You have voice privileges in HF. You have voice privileges in 10 meters, 28.3 to 28.5. And I'm going to tell you something else. That is pretty much where all the activity is right now on 10 meters. When 10 meters opens up, it occasionally opens up and you'll be able to go on there and you'll be able to talk. Most folks are in that 28.3 to 28.5 area of the 10 meter band. Now, I also will remind you, and I've said this in my other videos, that you only have single sideband privileges. You don't have FM privileges on 10 meters. So if you want to get the upper tier of the 10 meters, you're going to have to take the general. So if you want to do FM repeaters on 10 meters, you've got to take the general. And I will tell you this much, it is not that hard. Now, I've had a little bit of time to think and wonder and ask myself, well, should I actually go through and should I take the extra? I think I'm going to. I think I'm actually going to commit and I'm going to do the extra. And I think I'm going to go and get my extra so that I can be done and over with having to take licenses for the amateur radio excitement. So we'll just get that out of the way. But I don't know when. Somewhere here in the next couple of months, I think I'll go ahead and buckle down. I do have all the study stuff at my hands. It's pretty doggone simple to go and take the test now. So I've said that in a couple of my other videos, that wonderful thing about nowadays is as of March, I believe it was March or April of 2020, the first amateur radio test taken over the internet was in 2020. So you can now take your amateur radio test right over the internet. You can do that upgrade. So, or you could just go in there and take your technician test and get it out of the way, and you're done. You got your tech license. Give yourself a month or two or a year, almost a year like I did, and you're ready to rock and roll. So it's pretty, the technician test is not very hard. So, DMR, that's pretty much what DMR is. And as you saw, and I explained to you,
hello, my kitchen is South Korea. My
there's a gentleman from Korea.
I will speak slowly.
So one of the things about DMR is, sounds pretty good, right? And again, you don't really need a radio to do it. You can do it right from your PC, from your laptop. But they don't have, currently I don't think they have any apps on the Apple Store, because I couldn't find any. I didn't have any, and I looked and I looked. So
my name is Anton, Alpha November Tango Uniform November. My city name is Subotica, Sierra Uniform Bravo Oscar Tango India Charlie Alpha.
this gentleman
And
is from
my
Siberia.
state is Serbia.
Oh,
Do you
Serbia.
copy
I'm
me?
sorry.
6 Kilo 5 Echo Fox Juliet.
And the other station,
Romeo Oscar Charlie, this is 205 Fox Juliet. Hi, Anton. US name is Subotica. My city name is Ulsan. Uniform, Lima, Sierra Alpha, November. My name is Sun, Sierra Alpha, November.
gentleman's from
your
South
country
Korea.
name is Serbia. My full name is Republic of
Ulsan,
Korea, South Korea. Yankee Tango 7, Romeo Oscar Charlie, this is 612, Echo for Juliet.
So they just
Okay.
exchange names, QTHs, which is your
Mr.
location.
Son. Okay, Mr. Son. My radio report for you is 59. My radio station is Anytone UV 8782 plus. My hotspot is solo hotspot MMDVM P Raspberry 0. Back to you, Mike.
And you heard him mention the hotspot. I showed you the hotspot.
Yankee 7, Romeo Oscar Charlie, 625 Echo Foster Juliet. My leader is DB Switch. Your signal is 5 and 9. Thank you for QSO. I will to the studio. Okay. Yankee Tango, I will say binary. Yankee Tango 7, Romeo Oscar Charlie, 625 Echo Foster Juliet. Bye bye, 73.
So
Okay, Mr. Son. 6 Kilo Echo, 6 Kilo 5 Echo Foxtrot Juliet. Please confirm this QSO from QSZ.com. And 73 Happy New Year 2022, your and your family. Bye bye.
okay, so again, you hear QRZ.com, QRZ.com, QRZ.com. QRZ.com is basically it's a database that goes through the FCC database for information about somebody. So if you're in a conversation with somebody on a repeater and, they said, okay, well, cool, we just looked you up, or they already know your name while you're talking on that repeater, say, provided you're not connected to DMR, because they're going to look you right up, or it shows up right away when it shows up on their computer, or actually even on their radio. It shows up your name, your call sign, and your location. But if you're on a repeater or you're talking on 10 meters and someone says, yeah, go ahead and log me in QRZ, or they key back up and they say, okay, Jim, or whatever your first name is, I see here your QTH is in Southern California. Well, that's they looked you up in QRZ. But here's another thing that I'll tell you. So once you get your call sign, it shows up in the database. A lot of people are going to look you up on QRZ. Your call sign will not be in QRZ for probably 24 to 48 hours. It does not show up in the QRZ database. And anybody and everybody who has a ham license is using QRZ. Now, there are some people that do use QRZ, and they do use the FCC database to look people up so that they can be more precise. In my case, when I first got my amateur license, somebody looked me up and they said, well, sir, I see your call sign is KN6MQX. You just told me that, but you're not showing up in the database, man. Well, you are looking me up on QRZ. You're not looking me up on the FCC database. So in the United States, 90% of the people that are amateurs are looking you up on the QRZ database. They're not looking you up on the FCC database. So I just wanted to throw that out there to you. So when you get your new license and you go in there and you're, rag chewing on your local repeater, and somebody tells you that, all you have to do is tell them, yes, I am licensed. That's my license. Look me up on the FCC database. And they'll come back to you and they'll be like, oh, well, I'm sorry, Bill or Bob or Mary or whatever your first name is. I see you there. My apologies. That's all you got to do. So simple, easy, and enough said about that. So what else can I say? I'm not even paying attention to that game. I gave up on that game. I don't know. The last time I looked, it was like 30 to something. So I'm watching the Patriots and the Bills game on TV right now. So at any rate, that is DMR. And what else was I going to say? One other thing that I wanted to bring up about this is, so I know for me, when I first got my amateur radio license, I was very shy and nervous about keying up on repeaters. And so I did a lot of listening. But see, I'll tell you something about me too. I don't really talk on repeaters very often. I don't really talk on DMR. I don't really talk on D-Star very much. I don't talk on YSF very much. I do more listening than I do anything else. And I have HF privileges for voice. I don't talk very often. So I should practice what I preach, but find yourself a repeater that you feel comfortable talking on. Grab the microphone, key up, and give your call sign. Somebody's bound to come back to you. If there's somebody on that repeater, they're bound to come back to you and welcome you to the exciting world of amateur radio. And you're on your way down there. You're on your way. So, yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. And don't let it intimidate you. So that is about all I have to say on today's podcast. So I hope you guys enjoyed this material. You can like and subscribe and send your hate mail to me. I'm a new guy. I've only been in ham radio a little less than a year. And I just figured the knowledge that I have, I would pass on to anybody that may be interested in getting their ham license. Or maybe they have their ham license and they haven't bought the equipment yet. Or they have the equipment and they're afraid to get on there and talk. So if you're one of those people that wants to try DMR out and you don't understand how to program it, I guarantee you right now that there's bound to be somebody locally in your area. Maybe you haven't joined a club. I'm not a fan of amateur radio clubs. I'm kind of a loner when it comes to that. I don't want to join an amateur radio club, but there are probably, or is probably, somebody on your local repeater that knows how to program that radio that you bought, that new DMR radio you bought. And they'll probably do it for you free of charge just to help you out. And now I do know that we're in COVID-19 right now and everybody's afraid of face-to-face and all that stuff. So I think you can get around that somehow, maybe with some sanitizing wipes or something, and get that radio over to somebody who can help you program it, because code plugs are not the easiest thing to understand. Once you've done it a few times, I'm pretty sure you'll get the hint, or you'll get the gist. But there's many videos on YouTube that you can watch, and they'll help you program your DMR radio, and you'll be out and ready to rock and roll. Or you've already got a mobile radio or a base radio, got you one of them nice dual banders, and you don't want to spend $150, $200 on a hotspot. You've got Wi-Fi at home, or your tablet's hooked up to your 5G or 4G or whatever. Download the app Droidstar or Dudestar, and you've got DMR, YSF, everything at your fingertips. That's what I was using tonight to demo you and show you a little bit about DMR. So I'm not a seasoned amateur radio operator. I'm a general. I've only had my amateur license a little over a year. Both of my amateur licenses. My general license I just got back in December. So I'm learning just like you. So I don't think I could be your Elmer. I don't know enough about it, but I do have some antennas up in the air, and maybe I'll give you guys a shot of my antennas and show you what I've got over here, and we'll figure something else out. So anyways, that's it. I guess that concludes this little bitty 44-minute podcast on DMR and what all you can do with your amateur license as a technician right now. And it's a lot of fun. I personally don't know anybody that talks on 23 centimeters or 33. I don't know anybody that talks there. I do know a bunch of people that talk in 15, 40, 80, and 10. And yeah, so have at it. Exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And hopefully now that you've got that license and you've maybe something from this video has helped you out, and you have a better understanding of how things work, and I've been able to help you, or you turn me off about a third of the way into the video. I don't know. But again, I'm learning just like you. So we'll
Really good here in the
we'll
United
say
States,
7-3
Eastern
from me to
Pennsylvania, 90
you.
miles
This
west
is
of New
November
York
6th,
City.
Papa Uniform Delta from Southern California. Thank you guys for watching my
R
video.
Finder B1
And remember,
testing.
the music that you heard on here
PC3,
was provided by
KB,
purple-planet.com. So 7-3.
DC3,
So that part of the voice portion of the video is now done, and let's see.
Radio testing.
We are live on Twitch,